enjoy the sunshine?
Oh yeah.
Nice sunny day. Heck yeah, I love it.
Beautiful.
All right, here we go.
Pretty good spring when your big kicker knocks a 50 in the first game.
Yeah, we're doing some good things there. We got some good competition going on. I'm pretty happy with Atticus, our transfer from that school up the road. She's done a nice job, and Grant Matters returning has done a nice job, and then Gage Hurick, our freshman from Westland, has done a really good job. Super proud of him.
What can you say about Atticus in particular and what you've seen from him so far?
Really just mindset. It's good to have a guy that you know's done it at this level. Has a big part of kicking. A lot of guys can go out and kick off the sticks or kick, when there's not the real pressure going on. But knowing that he's done it in big games, in some of the stadiums that we'll play in, and just his mentality. He's really got a mentality that you need to have to be good at his position.
Can you sense his work ethic? He was the guy that kind of won the job in Corvallis last year during fall camp.
Yeah, he's got a great work ethic, and to be honest, in our program, if you don't make it. So it's kind of the standard that we have within that group, and he fit right in. And he's really a weight room guy, which is kind of unusual for kickers, but he's one of those guys. The strength staff loves him. They told me the first week, "Oh, we love this kid. He's such a great lifter and all that," which it can be valuable to that position or not. But more importantly, is the work ethic. He's definitely there, and he's a competitor.
With Gage, and we've seen punting the last couple of weeks. What went into that decision to have a punt? Is he still working as a kicker as well?
Yeah, so really Gage, he came to our summer camp, our specialist camp, really as a kicker, and then he punted, and he was just phenomenal at punter. So right now we're going to have him do field goals, punts, and kickoffs. I've had a guy named Jordan Stout that starts for the Ravens. He did all three for us at Penn State, so it's not unheard of. But eventually we might lean him towards one or the other. What I didn't want to do is cripple him in one by not letting him do all of them early on. So we'll kind of keep evaluating it, but right now he's doing all three. And for a kid that should still be in high school right now, he's doing really well. I'm really proud of him.
Boyle and his recovery, and so you still just handling kickoffs at the moment?
Yeah, he's been unavailable this spring. Really, with he had surgery in the fall, and just with his recovery, I know he's working hard with the training staff on that to come back, and he just hasn't had a lot of opportunities. We don't want to push that before it's ready.
Ross, that's such improvement from the year before. Had another unit, had an offensive unit on for 100 and something top 10 people can come to that. So special teams and some of the stuff gets over the water. How significant a change that was for you guys?
Yeah, I'm expecting you to write lots of articles about it, right? Everybody does them, we're bad. Nobody does them, we're good. No, just joking. Yeah, you're right. It was a huge turnaround. It was all due to him. To be honest with you, we sat down and basically said, hey, we're going to bring in another guy. We're going to go to Pro Kick Australia. We're going to bring in a guy that we think is going to come in and be the guy right away. And a little bit of that was a motivational tactic, but a little bit of it was honest. We had to get better. The expectation and the standard here is no different in special team than it is on offense defense. We're not going to be 120-something in the country, which we were. And so he just got motivated, man. It just goes to show you what the power of motivation can be. And to be honest, I told Ross, I've been coaching 27 years, and I told Ross in our sit-down last year after the fall that I was as proud, if not prouder of him than any player that I've ever coached, just because the turnaround was so significant, and it really came from tons and tons and tons and tons of work. He just started working at a different level. Even when he didn't know I was watching at times. And he just worked his butt off and became a really effective weapon for us last year. And it really had a big impact. People don't really see it, but it had a big impact on a lot of games.
So how much work do you have from last year to this year?
Yeah, that's a great point. That's the standard. It's just like anything, right? Like if you're happy being at the mountaintop, then there's usually going to be some kind of drop off, right? So now that's the challenge. Is okay. So you've done that. Now I know what you can do. That's a positive and a negative, because now I know what you can do. That's my standard, right? Now I know you can average 48 yards a punt, which is an Oregon history record, right? In the history of Oregon football. Now that's the standard for you, and can you not only do that, but have a growth mindset and raise that, which he's never shown me to be complacent whatsoever. He wants to win the Ray Guy Award, what he told me. So we'll see.
Kickoff. Format in the NFL, obviously not in college football yet, but curious your thoughts on it could be way to college football in the future.
Yeah, it's something that us special teams guys are kind of a small community. We all know each other, so a bunch of us got together this off season and kind of talked about how it would affect us, how far advanced we should be looking at it, and kind of the thought is let's look at it this fall a little bit, just kind of watch the other teams. I'll watch the cut-ups every week, and if they adopt it, we'll all be ready to jump really in a hurry and see how can we, how does it impact us? What are the ramifications of it? How do you got to train for it? What are the scheme changes? Those kind of things, but not really get ahead of ourselves and do it yet because the NFL is going to evaluate it. And to me, it just as easily might go back to the old rule as it was because there's a lot of, obviously it's not my doing, but there's a lot of like plays that are taken away then, and those kind of things. So I'm not sure how it'll go, but we're certainly abreast of if it changes, we've got to be on the cutting edge of it without getting too far ahead of ourselves. Yeah, you don't really go live and that stuff. It's just not worth the injury risk. I've never done that in my career. But you try to get a lot of live looks, where you're still tagging off on the returner. So we get quite a bit of that, particularly on scrimmage days. You try to go like what I would say part whole, so you're working the individual skill set. And my focus has been more, how can I coach it better? How can I get the specific techniques better? And then making sure we have the right personnel back there is just as important as anything. And so just trying to be really super detailed with those things. And then when it is, quote, live looks without tackling the returner, we're going full speed and trying to put the best against the best. So it's a really good kickoff team that simulates the opponent coming down against the kickoff return unit.
I think you've been repping a lot of newcomers. Do you have any exciting returners?
Yeah, I think you've got a few guys back there that can do it. One of the things that I showed the other day in a team meeting is there's a knack to these things, just like any position. And Nico Reed is a guy that is probably the only guy on the roster that has a touchdown in a college game. He had one when he was at Colorado against Utah. Showed that to the team, and they were kind of fired up. But I think we've got some options. You got Jordan James, you got Tez, you got Noah when he comes back from injury. You got Gary Bryant. You've got some good options. It's more, I don't think returner was necessarily the issue. It's more the off returner, some of our spacing stuff that I think I can coach better. I think we have the personnel to be good. I just got to get them in the right spots and make sure that schematically we've got the right plan to execute. And you just don't get that many kickoff returns anymore. I think we had like 18 last year, and so you've got to maximize the ones that you do get. Oh, there is one. Yeah, there's competition at every spot, and that's not just me saying it. It's real. We chart everything every day, and right now, if you looked at the numbers, Luke and Ross are completely, literally almost even. We went over it last night or the night before in a meeting, and their numbers exactly are perfect, exactly matched right now. So, for those Australian guys, like I said, I've been doing it a while, and whenever you have an Australian guy, they don't even drive on their cars the same as we do, right? All the food's different, everything's different. So it usually takes him a year to adjust. So I've seen a bunch of growth from him. Super proud of him. He's a really hard worker. He's a great teammate. And he's really, really talented. It'll be a battle going all the way into the fall. Nobody cares what he did last year. I don't care. They cared what I did last year. It's about now. And so I expect it to be a really, really tight competition all the way through.
What was your knowledge of venues and schemes, tendencies, how to win those in stadium events? How does any of that help you guys prepare?
Well, I think number one, I was sad to see the Pac-12 go away. Obviously, I don't have any power over that, but that's pretty sad being a West Coast kid. That's part of what allured me to coming back to here was going to all those stadiums and some of the stuff I grew up watching. But all I can control is what's in my control. And I do think it's an advantage. I've been to every one of the stadiums that we'll play in next year other than Purdue. So I talked to a friend of mine that was at Purdue last year because we do look at the wind and those kind of things. First job, I'm impressed by that. But I think just knowing the brand of football, because it's different, just knowing how different teams attack you, how different teams play. There's obviously coaching turnovers. It's not always the same, but a lot of times you'll know if you're going to play Rutgers, for example. Well, I know their head coach runs their special teams, and I know they're going to be super aggressive on pump block, things like that. I know they'll run a lot of trick plays. They always did against Ohio State when they played Ohio State. So just that kind of knowledge of opponents, I think, helps. And then, I'm not playing, but for me, going to the stadiums, anytime you go to somewhere new, there can be a little bit of anxiety. So I'll have less of that just because I've been to the places. So I do think it's an advantage.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys, man.